This is why they don't show their backs and the hair covers everything, because the only thing you're gonna be judged on is your butt. And the more of it that you show, the better you get scored.
Coach Greg, in today's video, I'm going to be going over with an amateur women's bikini competitor. Going to go over how she's told to be sexy to flirt with the judges, how she has to wear a thong and pose on stage, and what it's really like for her to compete. And just now, Iris Kyle has posted her displeasure as to why was there no women's figure, women's physique, women's bodybuilding at the Arnold Schwarzenegger Classic. But you know what they did have? Women's bikini and women's wellness. And so what do you think the difference between those categories actually are? Which is more sexy? That's right, I said it, sexy. And so the reality of the sport is women's bikini and women's wellness is more popular than those other categories because they are more sexual. It is disheartening to witness a glare of oversight in one of the prestigious events in our industry. I call on everyone within our community and beyond to recognize the importance of inclusion, equality, and support for women in sports. And so, what's next? Are we going to force all the competitors in the other categories to walk slowly towards the curtain and rear? And heaven forbid if Coach Greg or Arnold Schwarzenegger says what's actually going on in women's bikini. Arnold Schwarzenegger himself, he's watching the women's wellness categories. He says, I'm sitting in the audience drooling.
I'm sitting down here and I'm drooling. So, yeah. Sorry, Heather.
And so many of you are, oh my goodness, he's so bad. He's giving them a compliment. You're doing something very sexy and he says he's drooling. What do you expect him to say? And so why is it that if Coach Greg says that a booty is juicy and or delicious, how come I'm a misogynist, but when a woman says the same thing, oh, it's just all in good fun?
Top 3 exercises to maximize the size of your dump truck and get it as big and juicy as possible.
And so Miss Carrie June can say, let's build up our juicy jump trucks, but I can't say a bum is delicious. And remember, I treat everyone the same. I've said on numerous occasions that Mike Thurston is very delicious. Does not mean I want to do anything to Mike Thurston. And so why do you think the ladies want to build their juicy glutes into dump trucks? I'll tell you why. Because it's very sexy. People are trying to look attractive for the opposite and yes, the same sex. And so to do so, the primary muscle is, of course, the glutes. And so when you're entering a women's wellness competition or women's bikini competition, you're building up your glutes because you're trying to look sexy. You're trying to look attractive. And if you don't believe that the case, then why are women getting breast implants? Do you really think that women are just getting breast implants and getting juicy dump truck glutes all for themselves? Really? You're putting on all that makeup, getting lip filler, Botox, implants and so on, and hair extensions to cover up your back all for your own benefit? Really? You don't think for 1 second that maybe it's to help you to look more attractive? And in a bikini competition, whether it's wellness or bikini, what are you actually being judged on? I'll tell you what, primary or glutes. Wish the sport wasn't so sexualized or I'd be interested in doing it myself. Never understood why there is a shorts division for men, but not for women. From a very famous YouTube, TikTok, several million followers, she would love to compete, but not as it is right now, very, very sexual. Let's listen to an amateur bikini competitor and see what her experiences are.
I took posing lessons from an IFBB pro in bikini, and she told me that it's all about flirting with the judges. And also, yeah, of course, the poses, they are sexual.
And so what I'm hearing so far is that IBB pros who are coaching their athletes on how to pose are saying you have to flirt with the judges and that it's very sexual. The bending forward, and you get to decide how sexual you in fact make it.
Being sexy and bending over as much as you can is what is asked.
Being sexy and bending over is what is asked. Remember, they're wearing a thong.
The IFBB pro who I was taking lessons with told me this, so it was something that was required, and also both competitions that I did, the winner was the one that was the sexiest. It is what it is.
And so when I talk about bikini competitions being very sexy, am I wrong? Am I wrong? And if so, we want to reduce that and make it more about the athleticism of the body. Should we not be doing quarter turns? Should we not be removing the hair from the back so we can see the muscles underneath? Or should we just saying bend over, arch your back in a thong, and walk slowly to the curtain in the rear?
Of course, like sex sells, and they are looking for the athlete that is showing, of course, the most.
And so sex sells. And so notice that the Arnacolacta, there's no women's physique, there's no women's figure, and there's no women's bodybuilding. But yet there is women's bikini and women's wellness. Sex sells. Which of those events seem more sexual to you?
That is required, but the flirting and how you move, how you shake your shoulder, and going back on stage, like walking back, as you said, is something.
Are you hearing this? How you bend over, how you move, walking to the rear, shaking your shoulders, your lips, how you're moving, very sexual in nature.
Something that many women do because they know that it makes their performance better, and that the judges want to see that.
And so if you want to win or have the best chance of winning, how do you think you're going to act on stage? Do you think you're going to tone everything down? That you're not going to be as sexy? Or do you think you're going to try to amp it up a little bit? Remember, sex sells, and it also wins competitions.
The thongs, they are getting, like, the material is getting less and less. I do agree with that, and I'm all for also giving women that are not comfortable wearing as little as is required in the bikini division nowadays, an option to have more coverage. Like, for example, triathletes, they have these like spandex shorts.
And so we've all seen women doing triathlon, sprinting, and so on. Do they not look athletic to you? Do they not work their bodies harder than last time? But if you're a woman, perhaps for religious reasons or perhaps personal choice, you don't want to wear a thong, what choice do you have? Are you going to compete at the highest level not wearing a thong when your competitors are? Are you going to downplay your sexuality? What chance would you have?
Because it is a competition. Who can be the sexiest?
And so essentially she's saying it's a competition to see who can be the sexiest. She's suggesting, hey, why don't they have another category where you can have more coverage? Perhaps some other competitors, for example, that grow at millions of followers, she would want to compete if only they could have more coverage. Not everyone wants to get up on stage wearing a thong, nor do they want to be pressured to get breast implants, Botox, makeup filler just to win a competition. Why can't they have a category where you're being judged on the muscles and the condition that you have?
And I also know a wellness competitor. She posts on Instagram from her posing routine. They also get removed from Instagram because they are too sexual.
And so let that be a lesson. Perhaps think of that a little bit. It's too sexy for even Instagram, but yet they're doing it on an IFBB Pro stage. Would you want a teenager to participate and or watch an event like this?
Of course, this is what she shows on stage, and it works because the people want to see this.
And so what message does this send to our children, to the younger fans, people who are getting into the sport? Perhaps you're 15, 16 years of age and you really want to work out and you want to have a better body. You look to the best competitors and all you see is women in thongs, bending over, walking towards the curtain in the rear. Is that what you have to aspire to? And so what do you think is going to happen? They're going to think, well, I guess I have to work on my booty. I guess I have to get into a thong. And perhaps I need to get breast augmentation surgery.
Just looking at it, it is like you're watching a porn movie, but she's comfortable with that. But many people don't want to do the same.
And so she kind of feels like even on stage, it's almost like watching OnlyFans. Perhaps it's a porn movie. And perhaps you're comfortable with that, but not everyone is. Some people want to downplay that sexuality. I'm not saying they shouldn't allow it. I'm not saying they have to change it, but you have to understand that not all women feel comfortable posing in this fashion.
The physique one is just way more upper body. You get judged on your whole physique. And for me, it's something that I couldn't do because I just don't have the muscle mass. And
so what she's saying is, you look at the other categories, you're more so judged on your body, upper and lower body. It's judged equally. But she doesn't have the muscle. When you're in those other categories, figure, bodybuilding, physique, they have a lot more muscle. And why do you think she doesn't have that muscle? Do you think it's because she doesn't train hard enough? Or do you think because she's not abusing performance-enhancing drugs? And so what chance do the women have? If you want to train natural and compete in the category that requires the least amount of muscle, that's women's bikini. But in women's bikini, they're wearing thongs and walking slowly to the curtain in the rear.
The routine is more manly, and it's like bunny tails and showing off your glutes.
And so in wellness, it's about ponytails and showing off your glutes. I said it.
This is why they don't show their backs, and the hair covers everything, because the only thing you're gonna be judged on is your butt, and the more of it that you show, the better you get scored.
Glute medius, glute maximus, and glute minimus. 3 muscles on both sides, left and right glutes. That is what they're looking at.
Yeah, I appreciate if you would just use my messages to show the perspective of an amateur female competitor, because I think many people think like me, just don't voice it.
And so she wrote me these messages in private. She had no intention of making a video about this, and neither did I, but I heard it and I thought, wouldn't this be great for me to make a video of this and show what it's like from an amateur's perspective who just wants to be heard? She says, many people feel exactly like this, but they are too scared to open up. I'm doing it for them. When I opened up, what happened? Oh my goodness, let's cancel Coach Greg. He's a misogynist. Am I not speaking the truth? Let me know in the comment section. Do you think bikini is too overtly sexual? Do you understand that not all women want to prance around the stage in a thong? And those of you who do, that is amazing. You're confident with your bodies. Great job. But not everyone can do as you're doing. Should they not perhaps add a different category with more coverage where you remove the hair from the back so that you can see the entirety of the body? You can actually judge all the hard work that these ladies are doing. Incorporate the quarter turns. Rather than walking slowly towards the curtain in the rear where the glutes are shaking back and forth looking for fullness as they walk, why not have quarter turns? Which promotes women better? I'm asking you, is it better to just sexualize women and that we should show women's bikini and wellness and forget about bodybuilding, forget about physique? Oh, figure, we don't want that. We want the most sexual sport because sex sells. And as always, of course, I'm advertising my supplements. This is how I make a living. You can get, for example, Ecti Builder and Turk Builder or GO2 Max. Head over to my website. Don't forget, 15% off if you use code Greg. Also got cookbooks, circle diet book, training books, coaching plans by me and my team, available in PDF and the hard copy. If you're interested in any of these, as well as the Harder Than Last Time clothing line, head over to my website. Free diet and training program, close to 50 pages as well. Become one of the 300,000 plus newsletter subscribers. And until next time, I am out.